Here's another example. So I'm just going to follow my steps like I did before. So I'm drawing my lines in front of each of my terms. And then I like to put one on the end just to separate everything out. Now it's very easy to see all of my terms. I'm going to use some highlighters, and I see that my first term here has an S. So I'm looking for all the other terms in this expression that also have an S. And I see we have negative 11S, and 6 does not have an S, so that's going to get another color. And now I'm ready for my boxes. So I have 2 different colors, which means I'm going to end up with 2 different boxes. And this gets me to step number 3, grouping like terms together. So 8S is going to go here, negative 11S is going to go here in the yellow box, and then in the orange box we get plus 6. Now we are going to do step 4, simplify each group into one single term. So if there's more than one term in the box, all we need to do is add it together. So 8S plus negative 11S, we get negative 3S. And then in the orange box, we just had one term, plus 6. So now that we have simplified each group, we're just going to write the terms as a single expression, and I kind of already did that right here. My expression is negative 3S plus 6. Here's an example that has way more terms. It's much longer, but if we follow our steps, we will get to the correct simplified expression. So the first step is to draw my lines, and all I'm doing is separating. And I'm making sure that all of these lines are in front of a negative sign or a plus sign, subtraction sign or addition sign whenever I see them. Okay, and if you wanted to put one on the end, you could do that too. Now, step 2, we're going to use our highlighters. So I'm going to start with the first term, negative 3x. And now I'm just going to go through the expression to see if I see anything else that has an x. So negative 12 doesn't have an x, 5y doesn't have an x, but negative 4x has one. I keep going. Y, negative 8, 6y, plus 1, and then I have minus x, or negative x. That also has an x, so that is going to be highlighted yellow. I'm going to switch colors, and I go to the next term. This is negative 12 or minus 12, same thing. This is a regular number with no variable, so I'm going to go through and I'm going to look for terms that don't have variables. So 5y has a variable. Y is a variable, but minus 8 doesn't have any variables, so I'm going to highlight that orange. And then plus 1, that doesn't have a variable either, so that gets to be orange. And this one actually needs 3 different colors, so I have chosen green, and I'm going to my next term, plus 5y. So what I'm looking for here, I'm going to highlight anything that has a Y green. So the next thing that's not highlighted is plus Y. That's going to be green. And plus 6Y has a Y, so that's also going to be green. Now I'm ready for my boxes. So I'm going to need 3 different boxes for this problem. I need a yellow box. I need an orange box. And I need a green box. Okay, so now I'm just going to list all the terms in the color-coded boxes that I've made. So I'm going to start with yellow. I have negative 3x, negative 4x, and negative x. And then in the orange box, I have -12, -8, and +1. And then in the last box, I have +5y, +y, +6y. And now all I need to do is add everything. So I'm adding -3x plus -4x plus -x. Try to make this a little less confusing here. Okay, so -3x plus -4x plus -x, I know that there is an invisible 1 in front of the variable. So -3 plus -4 plus -1 is -8. And then for my constants, -12 plus -8 plus +1, that gives me, let's see, -19. And then my green box, 5y plus y plus 6y. I know that there is an invisible 1 in front of the y that didn't have a number. So I'm looking at 5 plus 1 plus 6. That is 12. And so now all I have to do is write the terms as a single expression. So one option is just to string them together like this. And if there's nothing in front of the 12, we know that that is plus. So that is one answer. A lot of times in math books, you will find that the constants are at the end of the expression. So if you see the answer written as something like this, that is the same thing. So don't be alarmed if you see that your answer is in a different order. As long as your terms are the same, it should be fine. For our final example, we are going to look at terms that have exponents just to see how that kind of changes things a bit. So I'm going to follow the exact same steps. I'm drawing lines in front of each plus sign or negative sign so I can separate all my terms. So I always start with this line in the front. I put this in front of that plus sign, and I keep going to separate the terms. The sign should always be in front of the term. And now I'm going to color code everything. I start with the first one, and here we see an exponent. So we are not just looking for m's when we look for like terms. We are looking for m squared. So it's very tempting to want to highlight this one, but that is not m squared, so it's not a like term. I can only highlight this one that says 10m squared, or this one at the end that says m squared. That exponent is very important. Now I move on to my next term. 17 is a constant. So I'm going to look through and try to find any regular numbers that have no variables. And I only see one. I see -12. Now I'm ready to switch to another color. And I start with 3m. Now I'm looking for m's that don't have any exponents. So I see -7m and -3m. I'm ready for my boxes now because everything has been color coded. So I need a yellow box, I need a green box, and I also need an orange box. And now all I need to do is put my terms inside the box that they belong in. So I have negative m squared, positive 10m squared, and positive m squared. And then my green box, I have positive 17, negative 12. And then my final orange box, plus 3m, negative 7m, negative 3m. And now I'm going to go to step 4, simplify each group into one single term. And we do that by adding. Let's look at our yellow box first. I know that when there's no number in front of a variable, there's an invisible 1. So I'm going to add that in. That kind of helps me see what's happening. Negative 1 plus 10 plus 1 is going to give me positive 10m squared. Negative 17 plus negative 12 is going to give me a positive 5. And positive 3m plus negative 7m plus negative 3m, how many m's do I have? I have negative 7m. So the last step tells me to write my terms as a single expression. So all I need to do is write these down and connect them. So there was nothing in front of the 5. I can always add an addition sign in front of that. And then 7m. And just like I was saying in the last example, this is a fine answer. A lot of times in answer keys and things like that, you might see that they order it so that they have the exponent, the term with the exponent in front, the term with the variable and no exponent next, and the constant is usually the last term in the expression. So you might see it like this, and that is okay.